Oh, hey, hi, it's me. It's me. I can't sing. I'm trying to do Defying Gravity. You know that song? You know that song. What? You've never heard of it? Oh, that's crazy. Anyway, it's cold as fuck outside, so, Canada for you. But it's the kind of cold that's like the wind just rips through you. Like it touches your face and your face hurts. And it's days like today where I have to remind myself that, having it be this cold means that I don't have like crazy poisonous spiders and giant snakes and just weird stuff. So you know what? Winter, you're cold as shit and my face hurts. But I'm grateful for the process to keep the rest of my life pretty good. Anyway, it's cold. Hi, how's it going? Oh yeah, welcome back. It's Talk for 10. I'm gonna rant for 10 minutes about something. Probably one thing, maybe two things. You never know. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's see. I wanted to talk about something specific. I started reading / listening. Actually, you know what? Side note. Do you consider listening to an audiobook reading a book? Because apparently there is contention here where there is a section of readers who think that reading an audiobook doesn't count as actually reading a book. And I mean, I can understand the argument for both, I guess. Because, I mean, I kind of imagine it like back in the day when they used to have radio shows. It was before TV, but they would tell stories on the radio. So I guess if you think of it that way, does listening to the radio, is that the same as reading a book? No. But it is the same as listening to somebody read you a book, right? So when we were kids, we would have, like, our parents and our brothers and, like, people would read books to us. And although I didn't read the book, I still kind of read the book, right? Does that count? I assume it counts. You know what? I'm going to go on my story graph, and when I log books, I log the audiobooks because I think it counts. Yes, I understand it's not quite the same as reading the book, but I am consuming the book in a way. Okay? So I think it counts. That's fine. Anyway, I'm curious. What do you think? Put it in the comments or suggestions or whatever the box is underneath this. There's something on Spotify where you can like write a response. Let me know. Do you think that listening to an audiobook counts as reading the book? Yeah. I don't know. It's a whole thing. On that note, I started listening to / reading Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I've read all the ACOTAR books, all 4.5 of them. How many of them are there? Yeah, 4 main books and 1 novella. I liked them. Actually, that's really funny. It's a full house kind of thing because one of my first Talk for 10 podcasts, I talked about how I started reading ACOTAR. So that's really funny. I finished it. I liked it. Did I have some issues with it? Sure. Was it the best book ever? No. Was the series cool? Yeah. Was the last book the best one? Yes, it was. So, well, that being said, actually, A Court of Mists and Fury was really good too. The second one, I did quite like that one. And then the third one was okay, but the fourth one was like, woo! The one with Nesta as the person. Yeah, anyway. So I'm in a little mini book club with 2 of my friends, and one of them has read Crescent City like 3 times already, and they recommended it. So me and the other friend have started listening to the audiobook, not together, but like together. You know what I mean? Maybe different times. Doesn't matter. So I'm starting to listen to Crescent City, and here's the thing. I'm sure that I'm going to like it. And I usually end up loving a lot of books because I'm easy to please. I think when I talked about watching Nosferatu some time ago, last time maybe, I talked about how I'm just a person who likes entertainment. I am pretty easy to please. Like if my imagination is so good that when I read a book, I'm basically just watching a movie in my head. And so if the book is doing enough that I have something to watch in my head while I'm reading it, I'm probably going to finish it. But if I get to the point where like I can't really see what's happening in my brain, it's harder for me to go with it. Does that make sense? Anyways, I have a couple pet peeves, I guess, or a couple things that bother me a little bit about books in general and not just Crescent City. But I think that if you've ever read Crescent City, you will understand what I'm about to say. And it's when the first chapter just dumps all the world lore on you right away. And it's just exposition. And I get it. You built a huge world. Oh my God, there's a dog over there wearing snow pants. That's so fucking cute. It's a golden retriever and they have like suspenders with fucking boots, dude. I love that. Okay, I got distracted. So it's a thing in books where in the first chapter, they just dump the entire world building on you, or at least a good chunk of it, and there's a lot of it. And I understand that when you build a really big, complicated world, you have to explain that stuff at some point. You have to tell people how the world works, especially if you've made a fantasy where some of the mechanics are different, or if you've created your own universe. I get it, but I just can't stand it when there's so much dumping at the beginning of information if it's not going to be relevant to me at the moment. You know, like you've introduced 30,000 characters. You've told me about 18 races and how the government works in the first 300 pages. That's cool. I guess I have some of it, but because it's just started, I'm not going to remember the names of these people when you mention 30,000 people one time. And is it really relevant to mention these things right now? Or could you give me little bits and pieces and build on it as I read instead of dumping it all at the beginning? And like I said, I'm still going to enjoy the book, I'm sure. And I'm still going to enjoy other books that I read that do this. It's just something that, I'm working on my own book right now, and I'm heavily trying to avoid that. I like the books that sort of let me fill in the gaps as I go, or give me new information when it's relevant. Or I understand sometimes you have to do some foreshadowing and you have to pull on stuff later on. So yeah, of course, give me a little bit of exposition so that I know what's happening. But I really don't need to know about the second cousin's third cousin-in-law's mother who owns a fucking flower shop 3 universes over. I don't give a flying fuck if it's not relevant, So anyways, I like when people have giant worlds to build, and I like when there's lots of stuff to think about, and I think that's really cool. And it's a smart move because if you're an author, you kind of want people to think about these things. I just, as a reader, I would like a little less dumping at the beginning, unless it is relevant to what's happening right now, or it's information I have to have for what's happening. The rest of it, just give it to me as we go. Give it to me as we go, and if it's relevant, and otherwise let me fill in the blanks. Okay? That's what I got to say about that. And yeah, so I'm writing my own book right now, and I'm trying to find that balance. And it is hard, I understand, because I'm building a whole world, essentially. And I understand that it feels exciting to be like, I want to explain how everything works. I just want people to know that I've thought about all of this, and that I know how it all connects to each other, and I know what's happening on the back end. But like, people don't need to know that, that people like seeing the tip of the iceberg. They don't need to dive in and see the entire bottom of it unless it's turning over and revealing new information and building on the story. Does that make sense? Do you see where I'm getting at? So yeah, I'm also trying to find the balance of that while I'm writing my own story. So I get it. It's difficult, and books are very successful, and I still really love books, even if they do lore dumps at the beginning. It's something I notice when I start a new series, and especially with Crescent City with so much happening. I'm like, the first 3 chapters are going to be a blur, and I'm not going to be able to enjoy the rest of it as much as I could have if I didn't feel like so much was getting thrown at me at once. And maybe that's just my fault for not being able to retain that much information. So that could just be me. But again, personal opinion. The other thing too is that I really enjoy audiobooks, and it's nice because I can listen to them when I'm driving and stuff like that. However, there's a thing that narrators do, and it's not their fault, and I love that we have narrators, and I understand why people do it. Again, this is probably just my own personal preference, but I find that when people are narrating something, they just read it really slowly. And they're like, and then they walked over the hill and they saw the ocean, and there it is. Then it started raining. I'm like, you're talking so slowly. And I think that's my ADHD brain. ADHD brain. You know what I mean? ADHD brain. I think that when narrators talk too slowly, for me anyways, I lose my attention, is just gone. Like I need the information to become. Here's the thing. This is contradictory to what I just said, because I need them to tell me the story quickly, but I just need the exposition to not be so much. I don't know how to explain that, but I always play my audiobooks at like 1.25 speed because I just find that they talk too slowly, and then I'm like, I don't know how to explain that. But anyway, that's my audiobook pet peeve dumping of how I feel about stuff. So thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk for 10. Okay, love you, bye.